GEN.YAHANNA. As y'all know, this is the Wednesday law class. I'm priest and officer Dr. Allah. Few topics I want to go over. Open the class up first. Anybody got any questions?
Right, so I do, 1 second. There was something that the gentleman was, okay, it's Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I want to get a piece more breakdown. So I don't think that's right.
You can paraphrase it if you remember. No, you good.
Okay, there it goes. Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna? This is on Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 16. Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might.
You said what scripture?
Hold on, I don't think that's the one. I know it's, I think it's 16.
8 and 16. 8 and 16 is the one you just read. Y'all got questions? Type them in. You can paraphrase it or you don't remember?
I have to. Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 16. Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he
Hold on, you said Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy 3, no, slide, sir.
8 and 16?
8 and 16, slide.
All right, cool, go ahead.
Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good at the later end.
Right.
So I just needed a breakdown of what's going on in the scripture.
What's going on at this point?
Because I know what it says. The Lord fed us. You know what I mean? We was in the wilderness. You know what I mean? Coming out of Egypt. But you know what I mean? Which thy fathers knew not. And going on so forth.
Right. All right. Take it from the top.
Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna?
Who fed them in the wilderness with manna? Go ahead.
The Lord.
Yeah. Why did he get a manna?
With manna?
Yeah. Why he give it to him? Go ahead.
So like, so can I look the word up?
Yeah.
Manna.
But manna, yeah, you can look it up, but yeah, go ahead, look it up. You can look it up.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
It says, manna, who miraculously supplied to the Israelites in their journey through the wilderness. Another one says, divinely supplied spiritual nourishment, a usually sudden and unexpected source of gratification, pleasure, or gain.
No, the first one was correct. Manna was something that when we was in the wilderness and we had no food and we ran out of food and we had nothing, they start complaining to the Lord, how are we going to eat? So the Most High sent down manna from heaven, which is, manna is actually, I think it's like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like some type of, it's on the tip of my tongue, it's going to come to me. But manna is some type of food that the Most High gave to us. The angels worked down and gave to us directly because of our complaining about us not eating and how we ate so good in Egypt. We ran out of food. And so he gave us manna to eat while we was in the wilderness. after fleeing from Egypt, because at this time we had no food supply. So the Most High sent us food because we had no food supply. We ate it all and it all ran out. They like, yo, how we supposed to eat? We've been out here for forever, you know. So where the hell we gonna get food from? So the Most High Himself was like, I'm gonna send y'all food down. Read.
Oh God, which thy fathers knew not.
They fathers didn't know about this man in the wilderness. He fed them in the wilderness with manna. They fathers didn't know. Their fathers didn't go to that. So read.
Oh God, that he might humble thee.
What does it mean that he might humble thee?
The humble meaning the okay.
Think about everything we just read. Him giving them the manna and them in the wilderness, them complaining. He giving them the manna. Their fathers didn't know nothing about this. And he humbling them by doing this. Go ahead.
Sir, pretty much like, you know, I got you. I'm gonna feed you.
Nope. He humbled them in a different way. Go ahead.
Is this where the Lord smoked them afterwards when he had the food come down that they were complaining? I'm paraphrasing, like I think it was earlier in the chapter where there was a number of us that was in Israel in the wilderness that was saying, "Damn, we should have just stayed in Egypt."
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same as when the Lord, sent down the manna from heaven and then killed us in the wilderness.
Yeah, because and also one reason he gave us the manna to humble me because he gave us the manna, and that's all we had to eat as long as we out in the wilderness. So you know what that means. Waking up to that every day, eating that breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, they're gonna go back to complaining. They complained about not eating. Now they got food, and they're gonna complain about having to continue to eat this manna, but it's gonna humble them in a way. It's gonna humble them. You gotta be humble when you eat this because you constantly eating it.
Yeah. Also, if I could, sir, this is also where after Joshua and Caleb surveyed the land. Is this also after that, or after Joshua and Caleb surveyed the land, and when they came back and told there were giants in the land, the older generation saying, "But there are giants in the land."
I think so. I think that's what you're talking about. They said they seen the giants in the land. I think that's in Genesis, I think. Pull that, find that and pull that. So we can double check.
Yeah, I was just only asking I wanted to know if that happened beforehand or did that happen after?
Yeah, about the giants.
Kind of that was manner after that.
Oh, okay, you're gonna have to pull that. Just pull it, find the scripture and pull it so we can double check. So that was one way he was humbling them because they gotta eat this manna, they finally got something to eat, and they just gotta be humbled about it and eat it. Fathers don't know nothing about this. This is something you gotta be humbled about. Read.
And that he might prove thee to do thee good at the later end. At the latter end.
What that mean?
Pretty much like the lesson that he's given them, hopefully it'll make them better than what they was before.
Right. So at the end of it, I mean, it's gonna make them better. It's gonna make them good. Was that it? That scripture, or was it more?
So that was it.
Was it? All right, cool. Any more? I ain't about. Any more questions? Go ahead.
Oh, that was in Numbers, sir. What I was referring to. That was in the Numbers, the 14th chapter.
Okay, about the giants in the land.
Kind. We were in the Cars question
was in Deuteronomy.
So that was after that.
Right.
After that.
Right. Was that it? Ain't no questions online?
Allah, sir, no questions online.
Okay. Most High pray. as y'all know, I know y'all see crazy stories coming out, especially about this coronavirus, man. Day by day, it's been getting crazy. It's been getting more, man, I can't even explain it. I'm sorry. Goodbye. It's been crazy. More cases been coming out, more stuff been happening. New discoveries about new things been happening. Of course, this is perfect to speak about because you got so many of our people falling into this, you know, this the witchcraft, and they falling into the, you know, the dumbness of it, man, and they just lost. And that's why the Most High put the I.S.U.P.K here to have us to, you know, straighten y'all out. And don't be fooled by what you see on TV, and don't be fooled by what you hear them say. In fact, when you see them talk and when you see these things and these atrocities and these events happening, you should actually be happy. Like, it should make you happy when you see them panicking and not knowing what to do. Like, Trump came out and said he think about opening, you know, the land back up, even though they told him by how, you know, each day go by and the coronavirus is not getting any better, that they don't think that that's a good idea. He like, man, like, forget it. Like, it's not worth it to keep, you know, to keep America, the economy shut down for this, even though it's a big health risk. Like, they let you know you risking more people catching the coronavirus by opening everything back up. But he don't give a damn. Like, of course, he an idiot. He don't give a damn. But I'll tell you one thing. Remember, he started out by saying he don't think this was a plague from God. Then he turned around and said that we fighting an invisible power, invisible enemy. And then now they don't know what the hell to do. Like, he knows he up against the Most High. They know why this is happening. They know it's going to keep happening, and they know how to make it stop. Listen, when that Jewish shooting happened, and all the news stations came to interview us, you know, Trump made a statement by saying something like, one way he was going to stop the black people, Israelites or something, is like passing a law where they can't speak out on the corner or something to that extent. Like, he came out and said that, like, spoke out against us a few times. Like, so Trump know who he is, even without saying our name. He know who the I.S.U.P.K is. You know, they got FBI agents and secret agents and all that, you know, watching our videos. You mentioned that man name on the internet, there's somebody watching the video as it's uploaded. You see what it's talking about. So Trump know us. Right. And he see what we say, and he see that everything we saying is right, it's coming to pass. But just like Pharaoh, his heart just got to get hard. One minute he's okay, he understands, and the next minute he not. So just like he so what they did was pull that video up, pull it up on the screen too, that congressman crying. Man, go ahead.
Why is there? You said the congressman was crying?
He was crying, and he made everybody in the building stand up and pray.
Oh man.
And he prayed with everybody in the building. So let's hear what he was praying for. Now this is in the Congress. Let's hear what he was praying
Representative Randy Weber, Texas.
Fast forward it a little bit, like 45 seconds.
Let us pray.
In the beginning, he just praying bullshit and all that. I want to get to where he's crying while he's praying. Let's listen to this idiot.
Several of the sins our nation has been so emboldened to embark upon. Father, you say in your word that the man who meditates on your word is like a mighty oak tree. Blessed is he who meditates on it daily. But Lord, we have endeavored to try to keep your word out of public schools. Father, we have endeavored to take the Bible out of classrooms, the 10 Commandments off the walls. Oh, Lord, forgive us. Father, we think we're so smart. We've replaced your word and your precepts with drug-sniffing dogs, with metal detectors, with uniformed police officers in our schools. Oh, Lord, forgive us. Father, we've trampled on your institute matrimony and tried to rewrite what it is. And we've called it an alternate lifestyle. Father, oh, Father, please forgive us. Lord, we have gone to killing the most innocent amongst us. Your servant Moses warned in Deuteronomy 30:19 for us to choose life so that we and all our descendants might live. Father, we're killing our descendants. And we're calling it a choice. Oh, God in heaven, forgive us, please.
You talking about abortion?
Lord, we've even disregarded the wisdom of Solomon, Lord, the wisdom of the Proverbs, where you said the slave will be the borrower will be slave to the lender. $20 trillion in debt, nations have to be laughing at us. Father Abraham Lincoln said that we have forgiven. So a true understanding of blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Lord, let that please be us. Don't remove your hand of protection from us, Father, please. Lord, forgive us our manifold sins. In your great mercy, bring us back to you. Father, I beg of you. I plead with you. In Jesus' holy name, amen.
The part where he cried and said, please forgive America for its sins. Probably got to wind back a little bit. We'll wind back a little bit, but it's a part where he was crying and saying, please forgive America for its sins that we committed. I'm gonna find it. Now this video, even though it's not recent, is still good to pull up. Reason being, for the simple fact that they know what they're doing. They know when things happen to America, to the economy and all that, they know why. They know it's because how they treating God's people. They know it's because the abortions and the injustice of killing black people.
Right.
And planting drugs on them. You had your hand up?
Oh, I got a precept, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person.
Hold that. We're gonna go to that right after this. Hold that.
Come.
Let me see. Now go back to the video. Let me see. That shit is sad. Y'all can look it up. It's taking up too much of our time. When y'all get a chance, look up that video. And he says in the video, Father, forgive the U.S. for its sins, for the sins that we committed. Please take away this plague for the sins that we committed. So like they know when stuff hit America this hard and stuff start to happen, it's for the simple fact of how they treating God's chosen people. But he's sitting up there praying and he crying like that means something. That means nothing to God. And they do that because they know the average black Christian is going to sit there and forgive them. As much drugs as they pushed in your neighborhood, as much abortion clips they put on your corner, you're still going to forgive them. And they know the average Christian and Muslim is going to forgive them. I remember I asked a Muslim, I said, he was talking about his hatred for George Zimmerman. I said, I got a question. If George Zimmerman asks for your forgiveness and take his shahada, will y'all accept him? He said, well, according to the Quran, we got to, and we got to protect him. Damn, like that's all it takes? To get the Islamic protection, all he got to do is ask for forgiveness and take his shahada? Like, come on. Same thing with Christianity. They're going to see him crying. They're going to feel sorry for him. See, he praying to God and white Jesus, and they're going to forgive them. But the Most High says, the Most High think otherwise. Read that scripture.
Come. The book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. Read.
Come. Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
He sold his birthright for one morsel of meat. Disgusting. Read.
Come. Verse 17. For ye know that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears.
He found no place of repentance, even though he sought it carefully with tears. Somebody tell me what that means. Nakar?
So pretty much it's like that devil on the TV. You know what I mean? He knows damn well he did it wrong. But then he try to cry and boo-hoo. And when some cities, you know, after, you know what I'm saying, after he realized shit just got real, you know what I mean? He realized, man, damn.
Yeah, now he want to cry.
Right no more.
Yeah, like your tears is not going to, your tears don't mean nothing. Your tears means nothing. It don't matter if Esau cries, he still can't be forgiven for what he did. So think about that when your Christian pastor talks about that situation and then tells you y'all gotta forgive him now. You know, he's sorry for the slavery that America put God's chosen people in. You know, he's crying and forgive the sins for the abortion clinic. Just like you said, we killing our descendants before life can even start. Like he knows. What do he mean their descendants? Because the Black and Hispanics is the leading cause in the abortion clinic. So now he I'm too loud. So now, you know, he gets up there and now he want to cry. You know, he want to cry and say, "Oh God, please forgive us." The Most High said, even if Esau, you know, he cried softly with tears and whatnot, paraphrasing, he still can't be forgiven for sins, which is heavy, man. And that's the mindset everybody should have, you know, because they know all it takes is for them to cry, you know, and pray. That's all it takes. Listen, you want to get the forgiveness of Black people, all you gotta do is pray. All you gotta do is pray. Which is why every time, you know, Donald Trump standing up there to have a speech or something, or if, you know, they up against the if they up against the backlash of an atrocity that happened, they always standing up there with a Christian pastor, you know, by our side. Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes, none of them really comes out unless they need it. That's why if you really think about it, they haven't even really been spoke out about this corona. They ought to shut their churches down and was like, look, just get the hell on. Like the government said, you know, we got to shut down because of the coronavirus, but the government never said churches had to do it. You had your hand up?
Sir, the point that you made about, you know, when white people cry, you know, it just goes back to what happened last year when we had that trial with that devil Amber Guyver, and how the judge, the Black judge and the Black bailiff, and even the brother of Arthur Shem Jones and the mother got up there and hugged that devil, all because she cried.
All because she cried. Now, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen videos where Black people cried. The judge sat there and said, "What are you crying for? You wasn't crying when you committed the crime. You want to sit up in here and cry." I remember they told my cousin that. My cousin sat in the courtroom and cried. And they said, "You wasn't crying when you took the life of that man, so why you crying now?" No, you want to cry? What you crying for? Don't cry now. You was big and bad. Play him out in front of that whole courtroom. But mind you, all it takes is for a devil to start crying, and then the world forgives him. But the Most High said what? Read that scripture.
Come. For ye know that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears.
No place of repentance, though he sought it carefully for tears. I don't give a damn how you crying.
Right.
I don't give a damn how much you crying. Guess what? That don't mean nothing.
That's right.
It don't mean nothing. You ain't forgiven. No, you can't be forgiven. You know, cry all you want, Esau. You can't be forgiven.
Right.
Go ahead, you got your hand up?
So, like, sir, also, like you were saying a little earlier about the Christians, like, they're groomed to accept this type of apology. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, it's a white man too. They will forget all about the slavery, all about them. That same government was the ones that whipped their grandson for no reason. They just bless your way out. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, Christianity grooms us to accept that, and they do, strategically do these type of stunts for us to start loving them. You know what I'm saying? And just one more, if I could, sir. You know what I'm saying? They actually, I realized that this presidential election, they really been showing how, like, it was insulting, seeing how low they would go to get the black vote. Like, they had Juvenile, and the dude was in a club, and Juvenile is saying, back that ass up. You know what I mean? Juvenile here, go back that ass up and go vote.
Listen, it's horrible, man. They do everything. Just like a lot of people, like, think about it like this too. They're talking about giving their money, that stimulus package. Of every family get $1,000, up to $1,500 per adult, $500 per kid or whatnot. They looking at it like Trump doing that to get the black vote, but not knowing the Lord is doing that, looking out for every family that needs it. Just like when we was in Egypt and needed to get the hell out of there, they gave us whatever we wanted to stop this plague. Listen, the Most High is killing our animals, he's killing everything. Give them whatever they want to please God, to stop this. Black people looking at it like, oh, he trying to get a vote. No, he want this plague to stop. He's just not gonna come out on TV and say it. He want this plague to stop, so he's like, listen, as many families, stop working because of this, as many families lost their job because of this, and they can't, recover from this, and they behind on bills. Listen, let's compensate them. Not only their job gotta pay them, let's give them extra money. Yeah, that's what we gonna do. Just like how they did in Egypt. Listen, give them everything and get their asses out of here. They are the reason this plague is happening. Like, they're the reason this plague is happening. So is that it on that scripture?
Come. We got a question.
You got a question?
Come.
All right, we're gonna hold that. Let me get these last two scriptures out. Isaiah 14 and 21. Before we get that, we get these last two scriptures out.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 21. Prepare slaughter.
Prepare slaughter. Go ahead.
For his children.
For his children. He's sitting up there crying, asking God for his forgiveness. You want to know what is God's forgiveness? Read that scripture again.
Prepare slaughter.
Prepare slaughter. Read.
For his children.
For your children. Read.
For the iniquity of their father.
For the iniquity of their father. You're going to have to prepare slaughter for the iniquities of your father. You asking God to forgive you for the sins of America? Guess what? America had the Lord's chosen people in captivity hundreds of years. You want to be forgiven by God? You got to be prepared for this slaughter that's coming in.
That's right.
He thinking if he cries, maybe he won't have to die. No, that's not how this works. That's not how the Most High thinks. That's not how he feels. The Most High, don't look at it like, listen, he's crying, so all right, I'm gonna forgive him. He's not your Christian pastor. He's not your mom. He's not your grandma sitting in the church. He's not your auntie, your uncles, your cousins, who all they got to do is see a white person cry, make them forgive them. The Most High says, prepare slaughter for the iniquities of the children for what their fathers have done. You got to prepare slaughter. In times like this, They all at times like this, they always do stuff like that. They always come out and they do the same stuff over and over and over again. The same stuff over and over again, man. Is constant. Is there any more on that? That's the end of 21? Read on.
But they do not rouse.
Yeah, they do not rouse. We know what it means that prepare slaughter, you know, for the iniquities of the children, for what the fathers have done, that they may not rise. Go ahead.
Meaning that, you know, that they won't be as high and mighty as they are now. They'll be lower to the ground.
Yeah, but it's more so. Anybody else want to give it a shot? Go ahead.
It means they would never be empowered again. That they'll never be able to rise and usurp authority from us Israelites ever again. Just like how Babylon and Rome, America gonna be the same way.
Right. So you killing all their children because you wiping out their offspring. Why? Because you don't want them to become a whole nation and get powerful to where as though they can once rise again. Because that's what happened in the Dark Ages. That's what happened in the Dark Ages. I think it's King Hawaki, if I'm not mistaken. He was a Japhetic. I think I'm saying his name right. He actually was training the Edomites. You know, in the Dark Ages, he had an army of them and trained the whole army of them. And what they do, took that training they used and took over the goddamn earth. After all them years, they was coming out of caves and holes and all that. During the Dark Ages, it was at their lowest point, and it was a King Hawaki. I believe that's his name. I'm pretty sure King Hawaki. You know, a Japhetic person who was I think it was a general in the army. He trained the Edomites. Over time, they grew as a nation, got strong. They trained their kids, the training that they learned. And next thing you know, they had a full army and they took over the world with it. The Most High said, nah, y'all ain't gonna rise again. He's gonna kill your kids. He's gonna kill the kids for what the father did, so you can never rise again. Them times in the Dark Ages, that ain't gonna happen again. You know, them Dark Ages times ain't gonna happen again. Y'all ain't gonna be learning from some heathen somewhere, you know, learning some military strategy that you're gonna use to take over the earth. Nah, your kid's gonna die. So when you look up, it's gonna be 100 of y'all. And it ain't gonna be enough to fight. It ain't gonna be enough to take over the world. And then after a while, you're all gonna be wiped out. Give me Obadiah 1 and 8.
God, the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
He's going to destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding the mount out of Esau. Why is it saying the wise men out of Edom? We're going to read.
Verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed.
And they mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed. Why is he going to destroy the wise men out of Edom and the mighty men out of Teman? So they can be dismayed. Who is Teman? Go ahead.
Teman is I want to say a province of Esau.
Yeah, but what nation would that be today?
I want to say Russia.
Nope, Germans.
Oh,
The Germans. They're smart as hell. They make all the guns, the cars. He's going to destroy the wise and the strong out of Esau. Why? They're going to be dismayed, meaning what?
Going to be destroyed or confounded.
Yeah, it's going to be like, damn, they didn't kill the wise of us. Who going to make the guns? Who's going to show us how to put weapons together? You know, who can make us something? You know, like I said, the Germans make the cars and all that. They put all that together. You just check your notes.
I'm not right there.
Oh, I thought you checked your notes. Go ahead.
Also, you know, America, you know, after World War II, America's got a lot of their technology. You know what I'm saying? If I could add, like they got a lot of their technology after the war. They went up in there and took. They realized Hitler was like on a whole another warpath. You know what I mean? Hitler had the top sciences and all that, and then, you know what I mean, some scientists came here, you know what I mean, helped develop NASA, you know what I mean, and other corporations, you know what I mean, that made them to a strong nation.
Yeah, so just imagine when those people that do all that for you, so like, you might got the heat on, chilly, it's strong. Imagine when those strong and mighty people do that, they get destroyed. That's going to leave everybody else with no hope. Read, is it any more?
Come. So lucky. To the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Everyone out of the mount of Esau, out of the family of Esau, will be cut off by slaughter. Everyone. It don't say some of them, half of them. It say every one of them is going to be cut off by slaughter. Everyone out of the mount of Esau,
right,
is going to die. So you can cry, Mr. Oppressor, all you want, but that don't mean nothing to the Most High.
Right.
The Most High is not trying to hear your cries. He's trying to cut you off by slaughter.
That's right.
Every last one of y'all is going to get cut off by slaughter.
Right.
Your offspring is going to get dashed against the rocks. Why? Because you're not going to be somewhere learning how to build a military together again, you know, to take over the world again. Ain't none of that happening in Christ's kingdom. So I believe that was it. That was the last scripture. You said we got a question on the line?
Come, sir. Officers are wide. Says, Salaki Adawan, can I get a breakdown from Romans 14 and verse 14 to 16? What does it mean, grieve by thy meat?
All right, let's get that.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 14 and verse 14. I know and am persuaded by the Lord Yahushua that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean.
Somebody give me the back history on this. What does this mean? Because you have to know the whole chapter. Go ahead.
Kind of, this is like a stumbling block before thy brother.
Yeah, but what was the stumbling block?
If I could, is it about if meat offend thy brother?
Yeah, this is a vegetarian.
Comes.
A person that eat meat versus a person that's a vegetarian.
Comes.
So this is what that's talking about. Let's go up to verse 1.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 14 and verse 1. Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful dispositions. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs.
What does it mean? One believeth he may eat of all things. Go ahead.
If I could, the one that eat of all things, eat all things that are lawful, that are meat, and of the herbs.
And why does it say who is weak eateth herbs?
If I could, like those people today would be, your vegans and your vegetarians.
But why is it called them weak?
If I could, because meat nourishes the body, sir.
No, this ain't calling them weak physically.
Oh, come on.
Go ahead.
So, sir, okay, let me throw this one out there. Is it talking about because our tradition we have to eat meat?
Nope. You don't have to eat meat if you don't want to. Go ahead.
So, I was speaking on the Passover. Like on Passover, we got to eat the lamb.
Yeah, but we got to. But after that, if you don't ever want to eat meat again, if the only time you eat meat is the Passover, that's fine. It's no sin. You can do that. But why is it saying that they weak for eating herbs? Go ahead.
Would it be because most people that's vegetarians or vegans, they pretty much look down on people that eat meat?
Somewhat, but not quite. Abaya?
They don't understand that it's lawful to eat meat that is clean.
No, because remember, this is somebody that's coming in the truth, that's in the school and believe that they can eat meat. That's why we brought up the stumbling block. Don't put a stumbling block in front of our brother to fall from their faith. We're going to read that later down in the scripture. So this is somebody who knows lawful to eat meat. Meaning this, it makes them weak because the Most High say it's lawfully eat meat, certain meats, right? By you still decide to be a vegetarian, it's like you telling the Most High he didn't know what the hell he was doing when he made that cow. That's like when God put this cow together and said, this you are able to eat, you saying God didn't know what he was talking about without saying it. So that makes you weak. Because who are you to say that he shouldn't be eating meat because it's bad for him? God said he can eat meat. God knows what the hell he's talking about. That's it. Didn't call a person that eateth all things weak. It called the person that eateth herbs weak, because the person that eateth meat is saying, yo, we can eat meat and herbs. It's no different. The person that eateth herbs is saying, we can't eat meat, we can only eat herbs. Okay, so if we can't eat meat, when God said the chicken is good for you, are you saying God don't know what he was talking about when he made it? I mean, you might say, no, that's not what I'm saying, but it is what you're saying, because you're weak in faith to believe that this is not going to harm. I remember I had a family member who tried to go vegan and started having like crazy problems. And the doctor, when they went to the doctor said, listen, the only way to stop this is you have to have red meat in your diet. It's the only thing that's going to fix this. I understand you vegan, you don't want to eat no meat, but that's the only thing that's going to help. Sometimes it's necessary. Like a lot of people be sick because they're not getting enough red meat in their diet. When God made the cow, when he made salmon, when he made chicken, when he made oxtails, he knew what the hell he was doing by saying, you can eat this. For you to say, I don't eat meat because it's bad, you weak. Go ahead.
And another thing, sir, you know what I mean? Meat is high in protein. So the Lord knew what he was doing when he said, go ahead and get down with that. That's why. You know what I mean? With vegans, you have to find some way how to add that protein to your diet.
Right.
If I could,
That's true.
if I could, two things to piggyback on what Officer McCarr was saying. That's so heavy. A lot of vegans try to use different vegetables and fruits as substitutes, and there's no real substitute for it. Now, the second thing, which is real deep about this chapter that just hit me, the real offense is not towards you, to the brother that does eat meat. You're offending the Most High when you say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, the chicken. Like the brother's trying to say the chicken's good, the cow's good, the oxtail is good. For you to say, no, but we only eat herbs, that's an offense against the Most High. But the true beauty of this chapter, if I could, sir, about us maintaining this brotherhood, even though the Most High understands that the offense is against him, he's still not allowing us to offend our brother by trying to force him to eat that meat.
Right. Which is true. Both of y'all saying. Now we're going to drop down to verse 13. Let's start at 13.
Verse 13. Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge rather that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way.
Now, why is he saying, let us not judge one another? This is brotherhood right here. Yeah, you might got a brother that come in here that only want to eat herbs. So the hell what? Let him eat it. Don't go to him and say, brother, you know when the dietary law is lawful to eat cow, who are you to say that we can't eat cow? Don't even do that. Even though he feel as though if I eat goat and cow and all that, it's going to kill me and clog my arteries. So the hell what? Let him think that. Let him think what the hell he want. It don't matter. Don't pressure him and put a stumbling block. How is he putting a stumbling block in front of him? Think about brotherhood and think about putting a stumbling block. About how y'all.
He may not want to stay in the truth.
He may not want to stay now because every time I come here, I gotta hear such and such tell me that I gotta eat a burger, or he eating a burger on purpose because he know I'm gonna be here, and he eating a big ass burger that's about this big, two sides of his head, and he eating it, and I gotta sit in class in here. I'm saying, yo man, sure you don't want none? Man, this burger is good. Why are you doing that? Or he gotta walk through the door and you giving him the protocol to school, and as you giving him the protocol to school, checking him on the shamar, you telling him how he dumb for not wanting to eat the burger, or vice versa. Don't be sitting in the school trying to push your vegan diet on people. Hey, every time you see a brother pick up a burger or something, or steak, you telling him, yo, you shouldn't be eating that. I got some scientific facts that how eating that and do this and that to the body. Don't do that. Especially the young men, because now they're going to start to feel pressure to where as though it's like, yo, I'm not going to class today. Why? Oh, I ain't going to class today because, you know, I got a headache. I ain't going to class today because I ain't feeling too good. And in all reality, he don't want to hear you talk about him eating herbs or him eating meat. He don't want to hear that. So don't judge one another. The person that eat meat should not judge the person that eat herbs. Person that eat herbs should not judge the person that eat meat. Don't put a stumbling block in front of your brother. Read.
Come. Verse 14. I know and persuaded by the Lord Yahushua that there is nothing unclean of itself.
Meaning what? Go ahead.
Is this to the point where is this to the point where like all the lawful meats, like the beef and the chicken and the lamb, how we know that's clean, but the brother that's a vegan or the sister that's a vegan, they're trying to say it's unclean, but he's saying we know there's nothing unclean of itself, that is a clean, animal to eat.
Right, and listen, so many people that's vegan, right? Reason to not eat meat, they would say something like this. They would say stuff like, hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, go out. They would say something like, yo, I don't eat it because it's a lot of GMOs or steroid shots they put in the chicken. They would say stuff like that. Meaning to them, it's going to be unclean now because of the process it goes through to make it, and the steroid shots they put in it to help it grow faster, and they get one egg and they duplicate it into 20 eggs, and a chicken cannot hatch 30 eggs at one time, but the stuff they put in it makes it hatch that much, so a lot of the eggs is genetically, and they come up with all this theory. So go ahead.
If I could say, what you bring out is so heavy. Recently, I had a sister tell me, you carnivore, how could you eat something that had a face that was walking around? Don't you think it had a soul? Don't you think it wanted to live or whatever? I'm sitting there like, yeah, you know what I mean? And I thought about the lamb slaughter and what GEN.YAHANNA was bringing out was so beautiful about how sisters was coming up to him saying that the other cow was gonna miss his friend. And I'm sitting here thinking like, well damn, that like this nigga gonna taste good. Like I gotta eat.
He gonna miss his friend, but how we gonna eat?
Right.
If we think like that, then we all be out here. Don't eat a plant. Plant live.
Right. Kind of what kind.
Gonna miss his family when you take his ass.
Right.
And you mix him in a smoothie. So what's the difference? So all your scientific theories on why you don't eat it, cool. That be the reasons. I mean, I've been eating chicken and beef and steak all my life, and
right.
I'm stronger than you, so I don't give a damn what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
About all the steroids they put in the steak, as long as it get me strong, I don't give a damn what they put in it. If it's lawful, I'm eating. If it's lawful, I'm eating. I'm not worried about the so-called oppressor putting GMOs or steroid shots in some goddamn chicken. What the hell am I worried about that for? When it's heroin and weed running out here rapidly, that's killing people 10 times more than chicken. You go look up the statistic of people dying with chicken, you won't even want to say the number. You're going to feel bad for even looking it up compared to all the stuff that's out here that's actually killing us. So for that sake, don't be in here trying to push your vegan doctrine to brothers that eat meat, and don't be in here being the brother that eat meat telling the vegans how they should eat meat. Y'all just let each other be. Because when neither one of y'all want to come to class for it, you put a stumbling block in front of your brother.
If I could, sir, me and you've been talking a lot about health.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But in the tone that we speak on, it's because we know what America does with their food. And we're not trying to, you know what I mean, trying to insult each other. It's like, yo, here, I got this joint right here where it's good and health, you know what I mean? This is the benefits of it. Instead of saying, come on, bro, what you eating that for? They don't do that.
Right. It's whatever we putting together, it's incorporated into your diet of whatever your diet is, you can incorporate this and benefit off of it. I'm not going to sell you something, a herb, and tell you you can't eat meat when you eat this. Or I'm not going to sell you some meat and say, yo, you can't be eating plants when you eat this. No, that's not how it goes. So read on.
Come. Verse 15. But if thy brother be grieved with thy meat, now walkest thou not charitably. Destroy not him with thy meat.
Read after, but to him that be esteemed. Did we read that part?
Okay. 14.
Yeah.
Okay. To him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean.
Right. So to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, if that brother think not eating meat because it's unclean, just let him think that, man. Let him think that. If you think him not eating meat makes him unclean, listen, just let the brother think that. And vice versa. Don't be trying to push your theories in here on brothers. Because a lot of brothers stop coming to the school. You'll be surprised. And that's why we're so big on brotherhood, because you'll be surprised of how many brothers would stop coming, or the stumbling block you will put in front of a brother just based off of the stuff you say to him. Like some stuff is just uncalled for. Some stuff is just you just not being goddamn brotherly. So a brother come in and, you know, before you go, you know, search him, you realize he a vegan, so you bring your goddamn McDonald's bag to the door with you and sit it on the counter while you search him. And he's smelling it. Or this brother eat meat, and you want to bring your goddamn smoothie back there while you checking him, trying to push it on him, and you just constantly saying it to him. Don't do that, man. You don't want to put no stumbling block in front of your brother, man. Do not do that. When you don't, that's brotherhood. When you don't do that, then cool, we all good. So read.
Verse 15. But if thy brother be grieved with thy meat, now walkest thou not charitably, destroy not him with thy meat, for whom Christ died.
Just what I was going into. Somebody tell me what that means. Go ahead.
When it says beat, but if thy brother be grieved with thy meat, that the brother still is, you know, he in his mind, he believes that the meat is unlawful, period. And to not discourage this brother from coming into the truth, what it's saying is, you know, if meat is going to offend him, don't even, you know, present it to him and don't even eat it around there.
Right. So thy brother be grieved with thy meat. Like if thy brother hate the meat you eat, and if the brother really don't like the meat you eating, if he really believes that, you know, he's supposed to be a vegan and eating meat is wrong, walk charitably. Meaning what? What does it mean, walk charitably around? Go ahead.
Be courteous to that brother.
Yeah, just watch what you do around him. Just like I was saying, don't bring up meat on purpose around him. Don't try to force him to, you know, he don't even want to have a conversation with you, because every time y'all talk, you bringing up steak. You bringing up burgers, beef burgers, chicken patties, beef patties. You bringing up all type of stuff to him. Just watch what you're doing around him. Read.
Come. Verse 16. Let not then your good be evil spoken of. That's it.
Okay, kind of what All right, so read that again.
Verse 16. Then let not your good be evil spoken of.
Let not your good be evil spoken of. Somebody tell me what that means. Go ahead.
like, sir, like on the topic, you know what I mean? If you like, you know what I mean, being a vegan, or, you know what I mean, you like being a carnivore, just, you know what I mean, keep it to yourself. Instead of
Yeah,
trying
what
to,
do you mean, let not your good be evil spoken of?
but when it's like, so when it be like a Christian, you know what I mean, you stand still in the dietary laws.
Nope. Meaning, anybody else want to give it a shot? Go ahead.
You could be trying to show a brother a good game, but the way you present it may speak bad on what you trying to put out to him.
It's perfect. Give him a hand. Not to spoken evil of. Like, you could be trying to show a brother something that's good, and he could be sitting there like don't be, nah, brother, you still shouldn't be eating no chicken. You still shouldn't be just eating herbs. Like, don't let something that you're doing good be evil spoken of. So whatever you eat, don't speak evil of what he eat. Whatever he eat, vice versa. So if whatever he eat, don't speak evil of it because it's good. And whatever you eat, he shouldn't speak evil of it because it's good. So don't take what you trying to put a brother on something that's good. He's just going to speak evil of it. So don't even do that. Just leave it alone. Both of y'all just let it be. And guess what? Everything gonna be all right. Everything gonna be all right. Nothing wrong with neither one of y'all. It's just the person that eat herbs is just weaker. We know that. When a brother walk in here and or whatnot, or you meet a brother and he's just a vegetarian, a vegan or whatnot, we know, all right, this brother kind of weak. But we're not going to treat him like that. We're not going to treat him like he's weak. You know, he's not going to be treated lower than another brother because this brother eat meat and you don't. We just know, okay, he's weak because all he eats is herbs. And of course, we ain't talking about physically. But we're not going to treat him like that. You know, that's not a thing to do. That's what you shouldn't do. That's not brotherly. That's not brotherhood. You know, that's not what Christ died for. You know, in the Christian church, they do that. They sit there and talk about, yeah, you know, Shirley talking about she ain't eat meat no more. I don't know what's up with her. You know, she gonna be eating meat back again. Like, that's what they do. And now everybody in the church want to come to church with some Boston Market, the big ass turkeys from Boston Market, because Sister Shirley don't eat meat and nobody don't like her. So they planned together that everybody in the church come Sunday with some meat, bring a meat or something to tempt her, make her stop coming. And when she stopped coming, they think they did something good. Nah, you put a stumbling block in front of your brother, put a stumbling block in front of your sister. You shouldn't do that, man. Like, that's not what the kingdom is for. That's not what the kingdom about. That's not what Christ died for. And that damn sure ain't what the I.S.U.P.K stands for.
Right.
You know, you ain't gonna walk in here and, you know, be spoken of in a bad way because of your preference on what you want to eat. Nah. I don't want to hear no, oh yeah, that brother, man, all he eat. Yeah, that nigga's a vegetarian over there, man. Yeah, that nigga crazy. Nah. I'm pull you right to the side. Hey, look. Man, you shouldn't be doing that shit, man. Vice versa. I mean, you can't have that in here. Is that it on that?
Come.
All right, Most High Christ. Zarwa, if that answered your question, let me know. Type it in and let me know if that answered your question. Until he do that, we're gonna move on. Pull me up that story to wearing gloves increase the coronavirus.
Yeah, come.
Go ahead, Ricard.
If I could, you know what I mean? Like, I've been in the food industry for some years.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when one thing that people don't really understand, when you're wearing gloves, it's a thing called cross-contamination. So you touching this, you touching that, you know what I mean? You're literally spreading it because you're touching a lot of bacteria. You know what I'm saying? And then you thinking that you're being helpful, but it's like, really, dude, that's like if I go on the train, right? I'm grabbing a food to make sure I'm you know what I mean, then I'm just, people is not taking off the gloves until they get home or something. You know what I mean? So it's really, people don't really understand that part of, you know what I mean, wearing gloves.
Because it's with the media pushing, it's them not having fear in God, and it's them just being lost. Like they think that mask and gloves is gonna protect them from the coronavirus. Just like I said earlier, Slim Thug came out and said he got coronavirus. He don't even know how. He said he's been quarantined. He's been, anytime he went out to get food or anything, he's been wearing masks and gloves. He's been doing everything possible. He went and got tested and it came back positive. Now everybody is at a point like, we don't know what the hell to do. Because it seems like people masking up and doing the right thing still get it. You know, no matter what anybody do, they're getting the coronavirus. And people is lost, like, how is this possible? You know, how is this possible? You got the story?
Come on.
You can pull it up on the screen too.
Okay.
Because the article came out letting it be known that wearing gloves actually increases your risk of getting the coronavirus. Like, it's so many articles coming up showing like there's no way to escape this, which is so glorious. And I don't think people realize how glorious that is, because it just goes along with everything we've been saying for years. If the Most High want to get you, he's going to get you. Right. It doesn't matter what the hell you do. You can isolate yourself in a bubble, a plastic bubble like bubble boy. That is not going to work. That split millisecond you take to get any type of air or let any type of wind in, you got the coronavirus. Right. And that's how easy it takes. Like the Most High, if he want to get you, he's going to get you no matter what. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think, I'm going to put these gloves on, put 2 pairs on, put this mask on, you know, I'm going to go outside. And like, I was outside earlier. I actually went downtown, which is crazy. Downtown looked like one of them old Western movies, the Wild Wild West movies, when they come out the bar, they stand back to back, and then the tumbleweeds roll by. Yeah, make that movie. They take 10 paces, turn around and shoot. Like, it was empty out there. Empty. I haven't drove anywhere ever in my life, as long as I've been living on this planet. I haven't been so many places and got there so fast because of no traffic ever in my life. Like, it's literally no traffic. Like, even when I just sit in the crib and I type in from my house to New York City, it'd be like an hour and 45 minutes, because that's like no traffic. Now, normal days on New York City, that's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Like, it's just like from here to Jersey or here to Delaware, it's like 20 minutes now. Like, a drive to Atlantic City is 30 minutes, and that's a 45 minutes to an hour. Like, it's nobody literally outside. And the people that's outside, like when I was there in town earlier, it was a sister, she had a mask on. And I was walking up the street, I'm coming this way, she coming that way. And I was in my phone, and I was like, as she was walking. And all I can see is out of my peripheral, somebody jump back like that. And I look up like, and she looking at me like, she had a mask on and everything, like she looking at me like, as I walk past, like, I'm like, I just cleared my throat. But she jumped like, whew, like terrified. And I'm like, do she not know she still want to get with that mask on? Because I wore a mask before, like I done had a couple surgeries or whatnot, and a couple things I went through where I had to wear masks. Eventually, that stuff around your face for so long blocks your airway. It does something to your air passages. So eventually, every now and then, you have to take it off and go, just get some fresh air. Put it back on. Every now and then. Just, you got to do that every now and then. Just to walk 8 hours throughout the day with that on is not realistic. And then you got to constantly change them. Because, of course, that pressed up against your face, you breathing on it, and create moisture. It get wet, it get soaked. It start making nose running. So now you sitting there and it got snot slobbering. You're going to have to change it. In that split second, you go, you got it. Just that quick, and they don't realize that. So you got it right here? Read that story for me.
Kyle, wearing gloves can actually increase your risk of catching coronavirus.
How scary is that to a person in the morning? Just imagine how many people you see a day with gloves on. A glove. And you see them with the gloves, and it's like, yo, we know why they wearing these gloves. They think they're protected from the coronavirus.
Good night.
But it don't make no sense. When you read these articles and read up on it, it's like, damn, that's true. But on the flip side, it's like, yo, the Most High put something out here where there's no escaping it. The only way you can escape this coronavirus is the ISUPK.
Right.
How many times we gotta say stuff and it comes true and people still don't want to listen. We've been saying the I.S.U.P.K is the way for so when this first popped off, we've been saying the only way to escape the coronavirus is the I.S.U.P.K. Right. What other people been saying? We're gonna wear masks and gloves and gown up. Articles is coming out how none of that stuff even matters. Hand sanitizer, washing your hand every 5 minutes, none of that even matters. Had your hand up?
Sir, even Captain Hunt, he was like, make way. You know what I mean? In the general city too, they was like, make way. Park the cars in the garage because of no high towers, man, it's going to be Edomites falling to the dust. A little bit, you know, over the weekend.
Listen, Trump came out and said he had to start opening the economy back up because if he don't, the suicide rate is going to skyrocket.
Right.
He's looking at all the suicidal deaths now and like, yo, this is only going to get worse if we don't do something.
Right.
Everything is closing down and people are isolated in their homes. You got to think. He at home with his wife who he can't stand. Him home them extra days, him being home them extra days from his work is more time for her to nag. Or more time for him to nag her. They're going to say, you know what, I can't do it. These kids bad as hell. She won't shut up. I'm killing myself.
Right.
Go ahead.
If I could, sir, what y'all bring out is just so heavy. That just lets us know, you know what I mean, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, that the oppressor is not built the way we are built because we've been going through oppression for over 400 years, and our suicide rates are astronomically low compared to the oppressor. Anytime where he faces any type of disease, pestilence, or any type of grievance, even if we go back to the Great Depression, it is more logical for the oppressor to kill everybody in the house and then himself. But we've been here standing strong this entire time.
Listen, they lose their job. On the way home, they convincing themselves how they got to kill everyone in the house.
Good.
Because he don't want to tell his wife he lost his job because she's going to leave him. Probably for somebody at his job who kept their job. She's going to take the kids, take everything that he owned, take half of what he owned, take his car, his house. He's going to have to pay her alimony for the rest of her life, pay child support. So he's just going to kill everybody. Mind you, black men on child support their whole life. Mind you, we lose jobs. I know a brother right now, no exaggeration when I say this number. I want y'all to hear me. No exaggeration, right? No exaggeration. I know a brother now who's about 30 and had about 50 jobs. Think about that. That's like 5 jobs every month. He constantly gets fired. That's no exaggeration. He's about 30 and he had about 50 jobs. It's like it's the normal now. It's like every time I see him, I don't even say, you still at such and such? Every time I see him, I literally say, yo, where you working now? And he tell me. And I see this brother like once every 2-3 weeks. And I'm like, yo, where you working now? And he just tell me. I've never ever heard him say, oh, I'm still down at such and such. He always say, oh, I'm over it. Like, that is the norm. And he's surviving. Like, he's making a way for him and his family. All right. Go ahead.
Like, so you ain't having to talk about my cousin Steve.
And he knows some mob. That's crazy. Listen, black men find a way and we get old. Like we get by.
Right.
It's nothing. We lose a job. It's like, first of all, anytime we get called into the office or something, we automatically think we fired. Hey, Mr. Such and such, let me see you in the office.
Right.
You like, huh? All right, everybody. Fuck with y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all. You go in the office, they like, hey, we got a good report on you. Did a good job and this, that. We just, oh, what? You sure? So I ain't. You sure me? Yeah, they gave a recommendation for you, and you like, what? Because anytime we in the office, we think that's our last time. Go ahead.
Did you bring out is so heavy, sir? I thought you were talking about me for a second, sir. Because a couple times I've been called into the office, right? They go, well, you're not fired, but you need to do so and so and so and so. I just quit right there. I just walk off the job.
Right. Like, listen, we find ways to get by. Trump want to open the economy because white people are going to be jumping off of buildings, at a skyrocket alarming rate because they can't stand being cooped up in the house, which is another thing too, before I get back to the story. They can't stand to be confined to one facility for so long.
Right.
And we go to jail for a ticket. We get pulled over for a ticket and gotta spend a weekend in there. Right. Just cause. We used to it. Like, this is just the normal. But to them, nah, they gotta kill themselves. Let's read this story.
Colonel Khan, a UK doctor is warning those stockpiling gloves amid the coronavirus outbreak that wearing them can increase the risk of catching the deadly bug, according to the report.
Let's find out how.
Colonel Khan, Dr. Simran Dio said that gloves can collect germs on the surface from infected people who cough or sneeze on them, the Mirror reported.
Which is what Nakara was saying earlier, right? The cross-contamination, what people don't understand, right? You wearing them gloves all day while you outside. You get on septic, touching the poles on septic. Let's say you drive. You get out, go to a market. You go to the store, you grab the door handle, open the door, bang. Whatever germs is on there, on the gloves now. Remember, these diseases live on these gloves for hours. So now you go, bam, the drugs is on, I said the drugs, the disease is on the gloves. Bam, you go open the door. Now you go in. You don't think the stuff you touching in that market been touched all day?
Right.
So now you're picking it up, bam. You putting it back just like everybody else was doing. You got those germs. You go grab a cart, push the cart, bam, get what you get, move on to the next destination. Same routine. Then you get home, pull your keys out, put the key in the door, open the door, touch the doorknob, twist the door, open the door. Then you get in the house, take the gloves off, throw them off. You done touch your doorknob, you done touch your keys. So when you go to put your keys up and you need to leave back out to get your keys, you grab your keys, put them in your pocket, grab your gloves, you touch your door or whatnot. Whatever germs that was living on that surface is now on your hands. Then now what? The gloves that you're wearing is transferring all the disease on all the surfaces that you're touching on your property before you get to your house. And not only that, people are wearing the same gloves all day. It ain't like they change it. It ain't like you change the gloves all day.
Good night.
Like it makes no sense. Go ahead.
Oh, come on. While gloves can protect your hands from coming into contact with these droplets, they will still remain on the surface of the gloves and may even last there for longer if they are not washed frequently.
If you ain't washing your gloves, the infection is going to last on your gloves even longer. Even longer meaning it might last on, let's say, a steel doorknob for 45 minutes. It might last on any type of surface for like 3 hours, but your gloves is going to last on there all day. It's gonna last on there all day because you're constantly touching stuff. You're constantly transferring germs to this glove. It's gonna last there all day. Read.
Come. Leading to an increased risk of catching the virus by touching your face or food with your gloves, as well as the risk of passing it on to others, Dio told the outlet.
Listen, I was on the train earlier, right? And this sister got on. And I like to sit way in the back, the last seat, like seat in the back.
Right.
I'm sitting in the seat in the back, and I'm just watching everybody get on, just watching what everybody do. The sister get on, she got her gloves and everything, and she pulls some Lysol out of her bag, spray the seats, and she sit down in the seat. First thing I thought was, she sprayed the seats, but how long do she think the Lysol takes before it actually start working? Like, do people actually think when they spray it automatically kill it right then and there? Do they not know it takes time? So for you to spray it and sit down, whatever germs is on that seat, you got it now. You sitting in the Lysol and you sitting in the germs. The Lysol can't even work because you ain't give it enough time to settle. You sprayed it, even if you read the can, it takes time to kill the germs. Germs just don't disappear. You spray it, they're just not gonna disappear just that easy. She went, I said, whatever was in that seat, she got it. That wasn't the killer. She had on gloves, right? When she gets up to get off the train, she sprayed a pole and then hold it like this. I'm like, why would she take a glove off? But she sprayed a pole, and she hold the glove, she hold the pole like this for the gloves, and she's sitting on there waiting for her stop to come up. And I said, once again, how long do she think that disinfectant spray, that Lysol is going to take to kill them germs? If you think it takes, all it got to do is take contact, you got the coronavirus. Whatever disease you're trying to escape, you got it. Wait, you have to hand up?
Two things, sir. First thing is to the point where she sprayed the seat. One, you're right. If I could, you're spraying the surface, but you're not giving the germs a chance to die.
And hold on, and not to cut you off too, with a lot of them not understanding too, it tells you you have to be at a certain distance to spray it and for it to be effective. You have to at least be 6 inches away when you spray certain things in order for the Lysol to be effective. So if it's something right here and I'm spraying it back here, it's not reaching the infected surface. You got to be at least this close to spray something in order for it to start working. Once it hit it and settle in order for it to start working. But go ahead, finish your point.
If I could. And I'm glad you said that, sir. Here's the thing. Let's say she did that. If she did it, now you're not giving the germs a chance to die. Now you're sitting down. Now they're dying, and now they're like, I have to latch on to something. Oh, wait, you just sat here. Now I'm living on your pants. Now I'm on your gloves. And here's the second part. You're spraying the pole, but you're spraying the pole while wearing gloves. And now you're touching the pole. Your gloves already have the virus. The can now has the virus. It doesn't matter if you spray the pole because it's on the glove and it's on the can of Lysol, and now you're touching the pole. Eventually, you're going to take those gloves off and you're going to touch those same other pair of gloves and the same can. So that depletes the purpose of even using gloves, because you're really giving yourself the virus without even knowing. And you're passing it on, not to cut you off, sir, to other people unwittingly. So like,
nah, what you're saying is so true. It's going right into my point. That is. Read on.
She said that regularly washing your hands with soap and water or using sanitizer is a better defense against the virus.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll down a little bit. Gloves should not be treated as an alternative to good hygiene. The primary advice is to make sure you wash your hands with soap and water or use an alcoholic-based rub 20 to 30 seconds, especially when you've been on public transport, such as the train or bus, Dio told the outlet.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, the card, go ahead.
Like, sir, I was really heavy in biology and chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of lab work when I was in school. And one thing that I want to say is, with bacteria is everywhere.
Right.
And the way how bacteria grows, you gotta think that the fabric, you know what I mean, the cushions on the seat on the train, you got all types of dirty, you know what I mean, people that are not clean, you know what I mean, so many people, you know what I mean, that's sitting on them seats. Sister, is fast. You try to spray that seat, you got a deck scrub there. You know what I mean? You got a duck scrub.
And that's what they don't understand.
Oh, man.
That spray is not going to get those thousands of germs. Them seats don't ever get clean. That spray is not going. It's going to get them thousands of germs clean. Is that it? I think we get the point, man. Which goes on to what I was saying earlier. She could have deck scrubbed that seat. She could have sprayed that Lysol at a good distance to kill the germs. She could have sprayed it and waited 30 seconds to kill all the germs and bacteria off. It still wouldn't matter. The most I want you to get the coronavirus, you're going to get it.
Right.
That's why America is in such an uproar and a frenzy, because they don't know what the hell to do. Get me Matthew 15:1. Go ahead.
If I could, sir, what you bring out is so heavy. If I could, more than likely that woman is a Christian.
Oh, most definitely.
And she believes that wearing gloves and using sanitizer and wearing a mask, all because of what the oppressor told her on the news, but she's not heeding to what the word of the Most High gave to the priests and prophets and through our King Yahweh Mashiach.
Right. And that's why washing hands, none of that. Even though the doctor said you gotta wash your hands frequently, none of that matter.
Right.
You can wash your hands for 2 minutes straight. That's not gonna matter to the Most High. It's not gonna matter. Somebody give me Matthew 15:1. You got it? Go ahead, brother.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 1. Then came to Jesus, scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, I'm sorry, slide you said, do we say Jerusalem there?
Yeah.
I got a 1611, it said H. So, I'm sorry.
Oh, you got a 1611? Yeah, that's Jerusalem. Yeah. Oh, so you ain't got no J's, right? Yeah.
Verse 2. Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
Why do thy disciples transgress the traditions of thy elders? Meaning what? Now, he could read out of that if he could. You could translate it, or you need a regular Bible.
I can read out of it.
Yeah, go ahead. If you can read out of that, that's good. That's the Bible. A lot of brothers can know when a certain letter should be there, and you can make the difference. That's good. You can read out of that. But what does it mean they transgress the traditions of the elders?
If I could, well, the Pharisees and Sadducees was trying to trip Christ up, because that's nowhere in the law. When they say the tradition of the elders, that's something that they do. The tradition of man's. I'm paraphrasing if I could. I think it's Acts 5:29, where Peter said it's better to obey God rather than men.
Right. What's the tradition that they was asking them about?
If I could, their tradition was washing their hands before they, to eat the bread.
Right. They thought, yo, why your disciples is transgressing the elders by not washing their hands before they eat. They should wash their hands before they eat bread. Why they not doing it? Because they looked at it like, you didn't wash your hands before you eat. Oh my God, you disgusting. You know what type of diseases you can get from not doing that? What type of germs you attracting by not washing your hands before you eat? Read on.
Verse 3. But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition?
He said, listen, you transgress the commandments by God by your tradition. He cut him right back. Listen, that's a tradition. That's not no commandment from the Most High. Read on.
For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But he said,
listen, you transgress the laws of the Most High by not honoring your father or your mother.
Right.
You coming to me about a tradition, not washing my hands, when you don't even honor your father or your mother. And if you don't honor your father or your mother, you shall die of the death. Read.
Right.
but ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me.
Y'all understand that? Because I want to skip down to the point. Do y'all understand that part?
Kind of a concept.
You understand that? Everybody understand that? We need to break down on that. All right, we go. Where's the part that it is not what goes in a man or come out?
Verse 11, sir.
Skip down to verse 11.
Verse 11. I want to start at verse 10. Verse 10.
Yes.
And he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand, not that which goeth into the mouth of the father of the man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man.
Meaning what? Somebody tell me what that means. Go ahead.
It's not what you say, and it's not what you eat, it's what you say. It's not being a hypocrite.
Yeah, but you don't want to word it like that, because saying it's not what you eat is what you say can make somebody believe that, okay, I can eat pig because it ain't what I eat. In this particular instance, it's something a little different what he's speaking of. Anybody else want to give it a shot? It's not what you eat, it's what you say. Remember, he ain't saying that even though you eat pork, it's not that you eat pork, it's what you say. Think about the context. Go ahead.
He said, if I could, sir, what goes into a man, that doesn't matter, that doesn't defile you, but what comes out is about the words in which you say. And the words of which you say goes into the fact that this is the tradition. You're upholding a tradition as a commandment that you can transgress, but you transgress the law. It's going by your actions. You say that we transgress you because we're not washing our hands while we're eating, while you defile the Most High by not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You're upholding washing hands over keeping the law, statutes, and commandments when it says which cometh into a man, which come about. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do. You're saying this, but your actions show that you are a wicked sinner.
Right. But the part you want to make clear is not about what goes into a man. You don't want to give nobody a... See, pork is not... That pork go into your mouth is what you say. So you want to give them what they mean by that. Anybody else want to give it a shot? I'll give it to you. McCart?
So what's the question?
The scripture where it says, not that which goes into the mouth of a man which defileth him, but what comes out. What do that mean? Go ahead.
Meaning like keeping the laws, like.
No, what it means is not that. Read the scripture of verse 11.
Verse 11. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man.
So what that means is not what goes into your mouth to follow the man, is what comes out your mouth to follow the man.
The words?
Yeah, it's the words that come out that defile you. What does it mean? It's not that what goes into your mouth to follow you.
What it says not go into the mouth to defile? Is it the words that you will receive?
Nope. I think of the context, the washing of the hands, then they give it to you. Go ahead.
You're not talking about like different, like unlawful food. You're talking about where you eating the food, right?
Meaning what?
Like cleanliness as far as before preparation.
You on it. He close, real close. The car?
Remember we were talking about earlier, like if your hands not ready, and then you touching something, it's dirty. Like you know what I mean? Like you eating.
Nah, you don't want to put it that way. All right, I'm gonna give it a shot. Meaning this, Christ was saying it's not what that goes into your mouth, because they were so big on You have to wash your hands before you eat because they believe if your hands is dirty and you eat, you transfer germs from your hands to your mouth. So they believe that when they pick up this food and they go like this, the germs from their hands going into their mouth. Now they defile because they transfer germs from their hands to their mouth. Christ is like that don't defile what goes into you. By you not washing your hands, eating your food with dirty hands, that don't defile you. But what does defile you is what the hell you say out your mouth. Go ahead.
If I could, like, what you're saying is, just because you didn't wash your hands and you're eating a clean food, that's not what's gonna make you unclean.
Yeah, not washing it. Their whole thing was touching your mouth with dirty hands. Defiles you. That was their whole philosophy. If you touch your mouth with dirty hands, you were defiled. Christ was saying that's not what makes a man defiled. What goes into his mouth. Because they would eat, bam, oh, he defiled. Look at him. He ain't washed his hands before he eat. Why is he touching his mouth with dirty hands? That's not what's going to make you defiled. What's going to make you defiled is what the hell you say out your mouth. So read.
Then came his disciples and said unto him, knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard the saying? But he answered and said,
then the Pharisees was very defending, like, what? So you mean to tell us that us washing our hands before eating didn't mean nothing? It don't make us defiled, which goes into the story. You can wash your hands all you want. That don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. You can wash your hands as many times as you want. What actually means something is what the hell you say out your mouth. When you blaspheme the Most High, when you talk about the Most High, priests and prophets, when you come up against Commander Gen.YAHANNA, that means something. That means you washing your hands 30 times because of the coronavirus don't mean nothing.
Right.
But when you say I.S.U.P.K don't got the truth, you're going to get the coronavirus.
Right.
That means something. Go ahead and wash your hands all you want. Don't wash your hands all you want. I don't run in the house and, oh shit, I was outside. I mean, scrubbing my hands 30 minutes under there, and I'm just, oh my God, I gotta get the germs up. That don't mean nothing. When I can do all that cleaning, wash the soap off, and then wake up in the morning like, oh, I feel good. Now I'm tested positive for the coronavirus. That don't mean nothing, man. You can wash your hands all you want. When the Most High want to get you, he's going to get you. Right. And that's exactly why America's in a goddamn frenzy. They don't know what to do. They don't, like I said earlier, they don't know what to do to the point where Trump is like, the Congress advised him not to open America back up, not to open the economy and the businesses back up because of the health risk that's coming from it. They saying it's so many diseases being recorded every day, it's too big of a risk to open the country back up. He's saying, so what? You got something? You got the article? All right, cool. Hold that real quick in the car. You want to say something?
Tom 8:44.
Most High Christ. Go ahead.
Trump says he wants country opened up by Easter despite caution from health experts.
The health experts told him you shouldn't open this country up by Easter because it's getting worse by the day. He said he wanted back open. Pull that up on the screen. Let's let them read this. This idiot said, go ahead. That's the pride of Esau. And that's exactly what, who else did that? You already know, we talked about it. Who? Pharaoh did the same thing. Right. Egypt was getting torn to shreds, and he still turned around and was like, nah, I'm not gonna let y'all go. Nah, I'm gonna still keep y'all in bondage. I'm gonna still keep you in bondage long enough. You don't think Donald Trump know if he let all the Mexican out them cages that this plague gonna go away? You don't think he know if he stopped the police from pulling black men over and just because he reached for his license, get his brains blown out, that this plague will go away? Donald Trump knows what he needs to do in order for this to stop. That's why you got the Congress crying his damn eyes out like a little bitch, excuse my language, asking God to forgive him for the plagues. You don't think He got on there and did that because he know the president knows how to stop this, but he's not doing it. And because he know how to stop this and he's not doing it, they know that's the reason that. I'll give y'all one thing too, right? I read an article. China said for 24 hours they didn't have no new cases of the coronavirus. For 24 hours. This was Monday, last Monday. Last Monday, China reported they had no new cases of the coronavirus. Tuesday, they woke up with 700 new cases. Wednesday, they woke up with 600 new cases. Sunday, they had about 500 new cases. Monday, they said, oh, we doing good. You know what they did Monday? Monday, they got their military might, right? They got every help they could in the whole country. You got met at your front door, your job, traffic stop, borders. Anywhere possible, they had people meet you with a thermometer. They took your temperature, and if you had a fever, they quarantined you from the rest of the population, right? They did this throughout the whole country. They did it so much, everybody who had a fever, they put you in a quarantine area, check to see if you had a common cold or not, or the coronavirus, and based off of that, if you had a coronavirus, they would keep you quarantined from the rest of the population. China got happy and said, 24 hours, we had no new cases. The very next day, they woke up with 700. And most I was like, oh yeah, you got no new cases, watch this. We're gonna give y'all some goddamn new cases. Go ahead.
And if I could, would you bring it out so heavy? I have another article, sir, where that same day where they said they have no new cases, that if I could, real quick, man died on bus in China, test positive for hantavirus.
Oh, we're gonna get into that. That's definitely, ooh, you see how the most I work? That was definitely one thing I was gonna get into. Go ahead, brother.
And this also article that came out of NBC News, it says the title, Trump's Bible teacher says gays among those who blame COVID-19.
You know why he blaming them? Because he's like, if y'all wasn't gay, God wouldn't be hating us so much and doing it. But y'all allow it. Right. He blaming gays for COVID-19. That man, he's an idiot. He's to blame for COVID-19. The hell? Let the Mexicans out the cage and see how fast this is going to go. I'm telling you, let them out the cage, see how fast it's going to go. Go ahead, you guys.
Oh, I actually found that article. It says Trump cabinet Bible teacher blames coronavirus pandemic on God's wrath. Somehow it involved China, gay people, and environmentalists.
Blaming everybody but themselves. He don't think that this got anything to do with them cage Mexicans. Just like I said, when I seen the picture of the brother holding his child up and the gate was blocking him and the mother had her breast through the gate breastfeeding the baby. Or the brother, or the picture of the brother floating in the damn water with his child under his shirt trying to make it over here and they both died. He don't think this had nothing to do with that. But he think this has something to do with the games.
I have a precept, sir.
Go ahead.
This is Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Perfect. They hold themselves not guilty. He's doing all this murdering and he's like, yo, we ain't the cause of this. I ain't guilty for that. You don't think the coronavirus got something to do with that brother and his child floating in the water? Or all those Mexican babies who go to the airport to try to go somewhere and they getting deported, put in cages, stuffing food through the cages and letting them eat off the floor. You don't think this got nothing to do with that? It has everything to do with that.
Right.
Read this article.
If someone comes.
Trump went the country opened up by Easter. Let's see why.
Trump says he wants country opened up by Easter despite caution from health experts. President Donald Trump said Tuesday he wants the country back to business by April 12th, Easter Sunday, when he would like to see churches full of people even as the coronavirus pandemic worsens.
Trump, he wants to see the churches full. by Easter. You don't think Trump knows Easter is pagan? And that it's not of the Lord, it don't come from the Bible?
Right.
He knows. He just made a statement saying that they're fighting an invisible enemy. And now you want to continue to mock the Most High by opening up the country. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Just if every business is up and running by what is it, April 12th? I'm gonna say by April 15th, we're gonna have so many numbers of the coronavirus. It's just gonna blow the goddamn shots off. Right. Telling you, we're gonna have a large number of new coronavirus cases. They're going to, this shit gonna be like, excuse my language, this is gonna be like the zombie apocalypse, the way they're gonna shut down. Y'all think it's nothing now, but y'all think it's bad now. Wait till April 15th come around. If they open up April 12th, mark my words, as a priest and prophet of the Lord, by April 15th, we're gonna have a large amount of numbers of the coronavirus and new cases. They're gonna shut everything back down. Go ahead.
You bring out it so heavy, sir. If I could, I want them to open up a week early. Because if I could, sir, wouldn't it be glorious if we're having the lowest Passover and they are suffering the same way the Egyptians suffered? Woo!
Man, that'd be perfect. Let us have a Passover. Y'all suffer. We're gonna wake up the next day and get so many amount of cases. They're gonna say, listen, maybe this was a bad idea. We shouldn't have did this.
Right.
We got 30,000 here, 30,000 here, 30,000 new cases here. Everything gotta go back down in the shut. Everybody gotta go into quarantine, shut down. Nobody gonna be working in the earth or nothing. Go ahead.
Might as well not good. You know, us niggas, man, we gonna go out.
Right.
We're like, shit, man. Easter outfit, I just got this shit for the kids. I got the basket. Easter, you know, all that good stuff. They gonna be, you know, how we get. You know what I mean? We gonna flood up Old Country Buffet,
Right.
Red Lobster. You know what I mean? And then one thing that these Christian pastors ain't telling them, don't celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't celebrate these holidays. There's not other Lord. And the Lord, you know what I mean, said what he said. You know what I mean? But it's real. The Lord is going to show them. I feel as though that the Lord is going to start. If they allow the economy to open back up and we celebrate that, it's every way the Most High said, you know what? I got something.
Right.
I mean,
Right. You had your hand up your diet?
If I could, to piggyback off what the car was saying, we do that to this day. They say that, you know, by 8 o'clock, we supposed to be in the crib. We supposed to be on lockdown.
Right.
Israelite school UPK is open, sir.
Right. Open 24 hours.
Right. He said we can't gather more than 15 people. I'm sure all across the world, sir, we are gathering together, as Zephaniah 2:1 says.
Mm-hmm. We damn sure is. Let's drop this. Give me that
Verse.
Yep. That's gonna be the last story.
Come on. Man who died on bus in China tests positive for hantavirus.
He died. Now this virus is nothing new. This is a virus always been around, but they bring it into the forefront. Why is it so heavy to bring out? Because it shows you the importance of the dietary law.
Right.
Like when we say don't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster, we telling you don't eat it because the Lord say don't eat it, right? Everybody want a reason why. We don't have to give you a reason. The Lord say don't eat it. But the Lord is giving you reasons on why you shouldn't eat it. Read on.
A passenger who died on a bus in China has tested positive for a completely different virus than COVID-19, one more fatal that often produces very similar symptoms, according to a state-run media. The unidentified victim from Yunnan province died while on a character bus heading to the workplace in Shandong province, the state-running Global Times announced in a tweet Monday.
Skip down, do it got the part where it say we don't eat rats.
Skip that.
Skip down to that part.
Come on. So the hantavirus first emerged in the 1950s in the American-Korean War. It spreads from rat mice if humans ingest their body fluids. Human-human transmission is rare. Please do not panic unless you plan to eat rats.
The doctor just said, listen, this is an illness that comes from rat to human transfer. But it's one good thing. Don't panic if you don't eat rats. Meaning if you're not eating rats, you shouldn't worry about catching this. Which shows you the importance of the dietary law.
Right.
It's not only with rats. You got pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. You got a catfish. If you don't eat none of these things, you shouldn't worry about these illnesses, man. The Most High is serious on what he say not to eat when you're dealing with this dietary law. They don't understand that.
Right.
There's no coincidence that the doctor, it says she's stressed, meaning she put it out there like, listen, I know this is an illness, but if you don't eat rats, you don't have nothing to worry about. Go ahead.
But you bring out so heavy, sir. That just hit me. And it just goes into the point that Captain Ahmad made yesterday during class yesterday on how slow Moab is. So you get the coronavirus by eating the bat. So this Moabite said, you know what, instead of eating that bat, I'm gonna eat some rats.
Yeah, let me try out on this rat. Let me see what this rat is tasting. And then you get something else, something that's been around since the 50s, you bring it back. And the doctor gotta say, listen, yeah. And I seen another article earlier where it was 30 more people that was just tested positive for the same illness. It dates back as far as the 50s, but they are bringing it, but it's actually coming back up because people are starting to eat rats more often. And they know that because they got this illness, and the only way to get this is from rats. I heard you can get it from like certain animal droppings or something. You come in contact with it.
Right.
But mainly if you eat rats, you're going to get this. And the doctor's like, if you don't eat rats, don't worry about it. Which shows the importance of the dietary law, which is why we have a law class to teach you the law, the dietary laws of what you can and can't eat, what you can and can't do. It is so important because without it, y'all going to be eating rats and bringing forth new disease and trying to figure out where is it coming from and why it's happening. Listen, man. And with that, I don't even think there's no more we can say. But I'm gonna pass the class over to priest and officer McCall.
Let's give priest and officer GEN.YAHANNA another hand. Very good time, man. You know what I mean? Not this coronavirus, man.
Work.
Understand? We are the ISUPK, started out on 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of GEN.YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brothers or the sister, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, in Malachi chapter 3, 8 and 10, you can find it there. It means 10th in Hebrew, my Ashura, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like. Upcoming convocation right now, until Commander GEN.YAHANNA give us the update on the Passover is on standby. You understand? And he's qualified. You understand the Lord to do that.
Right.
Make sure you check the bulletin board in your school. If there's any brother want to become a trooper in school, where come in with your black headband, wearing all black, wearing boots, shirts, headband, and scarf, and with that, Amaja. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Amaja Shabbat. Amaja Barak.
Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua Barakatham.
Yajamata. Sar means turn. Sisters, we're going to give courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amaja Shabbat, Amaja, Barak,
Yahweh Shamar Alatham by Hashem Yahushua.
Yajamata, class dismissed.
I'll make it sure.